Hi, my name is Miriam Bernabei, and I'm a volunteer here at Greenburgh Town Hall. We have a wonderful guest with us today, Miss Julia Bertussi, the Director of Education at One River School of Art and Design in Hartsdale. If you've been to our town hall recently, you may have noticed the vibrant and inspiring artwork on display. It's the work of adult students from One River School, and it's a beautiful reminder of the creative spirit thriving in our community. Today we'll be talking with Julia about the school, the students behind these works, and the importance of making art at every stage of life. Welcome, Julia. We're so happy that you can come and speak with us today. And so to start off, why don't we talk about a little bit about yourself and how you got started and how you ended up at One River School.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. My name's Julia. I'm the Director of Education with One River School of Art and Design in Hartsdale. I'm going to have been there 3 years this upcoming August. And I started there pretty much because my passion has always been art education. I went to school for art education, and I wanted to be in a space where art is valued and not graded, and just in a context where learning really is the priority and expression and creativity are thriving. And One River turned out to be just the place for that. So wonderful place for any artist who wants to be involved in education without being within the public school or private school system. Yeah.
And what was your art form when you were studying?
Oh, I do a little bit of everything, but my go-to is oil painting, and sometimes mixed media art as well. I'm a big fan of this idea of you need to learn the rules first to be able to break them afterwards. So I started off in realism, because that's what I consider the rules, so to say. And then once I felt comfortable there, I branched out into some more expressive and abstract oil painting.
Cool. So for viewers who may not be familiar, what is One River School of Art and Design, and what makes it different from the other schools?
One River School of Art and Design is a extracurricular art programming for anyone ages pre-K through adult. So all ages, all skill levels are welcome. We function kind of outside of the typical school system. So students choose to come work with us to further pursue their artistic journey and their artistic endeavors. For our younger students, so pre-K through teen, a lot of students choose to come here to take more art classes and engage more in the arts outside of school. But our adults come here for a whole bunch of different reasons, whether it is to learn the fundamentals, to learn more about their already existing art skills, to learn how to take their art a step further, or just to be part of an art community. A lot of different reasons that people tend to join us. But One River School, we are actually more than just our Hartsdale location. So I work with our Hartsdale location, which, you know, I'm a little bit partial to.
Of course.
But we have over 15 locations across New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and even some locations franchising further out than that, with our furthest location, I believe, in Lake Oswego, Oregon.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Now, I heard it was started in New Jersey. The guy who thought of it, do you know, what was his impetus? What made him want to do this?
So our founder, Matt Ross, started our first location in Englewood, New Jersey, with this drive to create an art space that follows our motto of transforming art education. He really recognized that New York City is such a huge hub for art and art education, but that doesn't always find its way into the suburbs. So One River School is an art school that gives students in the suburbs and outside of the city the opportunity to engage in high caliber art education and art community without having to be in the city. And it's called One River because all of our schools started off around One River.
The Hudson River.
I believe that's the river. Don't quote me on that.
Sounds like it, New Jersey.
Yep.
Wow, interesting. So the curriculum, I know you were talking about there's an Art Shuffle and an Art Shuffle Plus, and the Art Shuffle is curriculum-based and Art Shuffle Plus is not. It's inspired by the students' own desire to do what they want to do. How is the curriculum developed? Who develops the curriculum?
Yeah, so our curriculum, we have a few different main classes that we offer. We offer our Shuffle class, our Shuffle Plus class, and our Focus classes as well. For our Shuffle classes, students have opportunity to try all different types of materials within one class type. Shuffle Plus is more student driven, so students get to choose what they are exploring, and then the teacher is there to guide them as much or as little as they need. And then our focus classes have one focus, whether it's focus on drawing, focus on manga, so on and so forth. And again, the teachers are there to guide them through that. And our curriculum is developed by our education team, so across the different One River School locations, all of our curriculum is relatively consistent, and our curriculum is developed by extremely high-tier art educators who have years and years of experience as art educators and know what are the best learning goals and experiences for different age groups, in a way that we have both technical and expressive creating growth.
So now in the focus classes, what kind of arts are taught?
Yeah, so our focus classes are specific to our grades 3 through 12 age groups. For our grades 3 through 5, we've got focus on cartooning and focus on drawing, which focus on drawing, they do a plethora of different projects, all focusing on different drawing materials, graphite, charcoal, colored pencils, etc. Focus on cartooning has more material variety, but the subject stays consistent of different cartooning styles and themes. And then in our teen classes, in addition to focus on drawing, we also have focus on manga, which focuses on the manga and anime styles of art. And I'm mentioning all this with studio art, but we also have comparable programming for digital art as well.
Okay. And then you mentioned the oils and the watercolors and all that.
Yeah,
too.
So the oils, watercolors, any painting projects tend to come with our shuffle programming. So with our shuffle classes, there might be 1 month where we're focusing on a drawing project, then 1 month we're focusing on watercolors, and the next acrylics, and so on and so forth, with the more advanced materials happening in our more advanced or higher age level classes.
And when you see the adults, are they mostly younger adults or senior citizens? Or because I know this exhibit is adult driven.
Yes, we have a huge variety of people that come to our space with all different goals. Within our adult programming, we have, again, a pretty big age range, and our pretty extensive schedule offerings allow for people with different lifestyles to engage in our programming. So I would say our morning classes tend to be more geared to adults who are retired, who have flexible work schedules or are stay-at-home parents, versus our evening or weekend classes tends to be more focused on our working adults and making sure that there's art making opportunities even amidst a very, very busy working schedule.
Well, speaking about the exhibit, that is wonderful. How did the show come about? How did you get here?
Yeah, how did we get here? So first, just big thank you to Sarah White, who was gracious enough to host us in this space. She's absolutely wonderful to work with.
Yes, she is.
I reached out to her because we're always finding opportunities for our younger students to put their artwork out there and build their college applications or this, that, the other thing. But our adult students didn't have that opportunity as often. And this upcoming year and in general, we've been really trying to prioritize our adult students and our adult student offerings. And when I remembered the connection that I had with Sarah, I was like, okay, well, I could have had my younger students exhibit here, but I really wanted to give my adult students the opportunity to share their artwork with the community. A lot of my adult students are trying to build their art practice and potentially start selling artwork, and it's hard to do that without having exhibition opportunities or opportunities to share your artwork outside of One River School. So I appreciate any partnership that allows us to have our students connect more with the community, and Sarah made that happen.
And like, have any of the students come back to you and told you what it's meant to have their work exhibited?
Yeah, a few students, they came to see the show here and came back to One River during our classes and were telling me that they liked seeing the artwork on the wall, how it's a big source of pride for them to see the culmination of their work coming to this great kind of celebration of their creativity and their learning. Yeah,
I think when you're an adult, to have that opportunity kind of would be really cool, I think.
Exactly. And I think there's so many milestones that we celebrate in young people's lives, and you get to a certain point where there's less milestones to celebrate, and there's always something that we can be celebrating about each other's growth journeys. So
exactly, I agree. So what was the process like selecting and preparing the pieces that you chose.
Yeah.
Did you choose them, or how were they chosen?
It wasn't necessarily that I chose the artwork. It was more that I reached out to our adult students, and I pretty much gave them the opportunity to say, like, hey, if you want to bring in 1 or 2 pieces that you want to share with the community, then I will hang them up.
So we were talking about, when we were walking through the gallery, some of the pieces that may have had an interesting backstory, or can you talk about a couple of those?
Yeah, of course. So first, I just want to say, like, every single one of my students, I'm so proud of all of their journeys. They all have so many different reasons for coming to classes with us, and every single one of them is just someone worth celebrating. Whenever someone chooses to pursue their passions at whatever stage of life, that's something worth celebrating.
Absolutely.
But I'd say a couple of particular pieces that stand out to me. We were speaking about Michelle, who Michelle is a veterinarian, and she works absolutely crazy hours to support her staff and take care of the different animals she works with. And she will show up after 24, 36, 48-hour shifts with a Red Bull in hand and come into class and know that she is dedicating time to her art. And I think she's just a really great example of how, if you want to, you can. Like, if you choose to pursue something and prioritize that, it can become a part of your life in a feasible way. So I think that's, especially like in this time where work is such a huge priority for everyone, and it is very hard to prioritize self-care, personal hobbies. I think she's a really great example of someone who makes it work.
And her piece was beautiful.
And her piece is beautiful.
That was the forest, right?
Yes. She is, I will say, big perfectionist. But you would never know how critical she was of herself during this process, because it just came out absolutely beautiful.
Yes, for sure. And then we were talking about another one of the artists.
So a couple other people that I'd love to speak about. Another student, Pallavi, who very much uses her travels and experiences as inspiration for her art. She's someone who just has this love for creating. She always has a new idea that I'm so excited to explore with her. But she actually recently had some different setbacks personally, and was afraid of the effect it might have on her artwork. And this piece that we have in the show is her first piece back, and you would never know. You would never know.
That was the big flower,
the
right?
big flower. Yeah,
that was gorgeous.
She's someone I find very, very inspiring. I think she has this very deep understanding of how healing art can be, and how mentally and physically. And I think she uses it for just that, like uses art as a means of healing and self-exploration. And I just think that's such a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, I agree. And finally, there was another, Felix, was that
Felix,
the person's name? Right?
Yes. Felix is just such a joy to work with. He is just so passionate, and he's someone who we've had countless conversations about how in his early childhood, he didn't have the opportunity or support to take art classes and engage in that practice. And now that he is retired, he's decided to explore some art classes, and he's a really great example of it's never too late to explore something that you're passionate about. And there's always someone out there who's willing to give you the support and opportunity you need to pursue your passions. And I'm really, really grateful that One River was able to provide that space for him. And he just cares so much about his artwork, and he's so passionate and creative. And every single artwork that he creates with me in class, he goes home and does the same artwork to practice it even more. And I think that kind of drive and dedication is also really inspiring.
Right. It's so nice to know that, you can be an older person, but you can pursue what you want to pursue.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's great. So on that line, many adults may feel hesitant to start pursuing their art form. And what do you say to those people who might be a little intimidated by the process?
Yeah, well, I know for myself, art making can be intimidating. There is this pressure to be perfect. I think artists are a very self-critical bunch. But I think my biggest kind of note within all of that is just create. Making art just to make art is such a beautiful thing. And there are people, other artists out there who know that exact feeling and will support you through every moment of that journey. And that's really what One River strives to do. We try to create this space, this art community for people of any skill level, beginner to advanced artists, to be able to scratch that itch of whatever art they want to be creating. And give them the tools, the supplies, the skills to be able to pursue that in a judgment-free zone, because it's worth it. It's worth kind of overcoming that mental hurdle to be able to create.
It's been a delight talking to you, and I love your students' work, and I think it's a great thing that you're doing.
Thank you so much.
So, thank you. It's always inspiring to hear about the creative work happening here in our community. A big thank you to Julia Bertussi, and congratulations to the talented adult students from One River School for their beautiful exhibit. And as always, many thanks to Paul Feiner, Sarah Bracey-White, Janelle Wallace, and our videographer, Terrence Brosnan. See you again next time as we continue to celebrate the arts in Greenburgh.